Once upon a time, in a peaceful village nestled between rolling hills and green meadows, there lived a proud rooster named Rufus. He was the most beautiful rooster in the entire village, with brilliant red feathers that gleamed like rubies in the sunlight and a golden crest that stood tall upon his head. Rufus lived in a comfortable barn with many other animals: hens, ducks, goats, and cows. Every morning he would wake the entire village with his loud and powerful crow. The farmers depended on him, and Rufus took great pride in his important job. But Rufus had one big problem. He could not control his emotions. When something made him angry, he would explode like a volcano. When he felt jealous, he would sulk for days. When he was happy, he would become so excited that he forgot everything else. His emotions controlled him completely, and this caused many problems in his life. One sunny morning, a new rooster arrived at the barn. His name was Rocky, and he had smooth brown feathers and a calm, gentle manner. The farmer had brought Rocky from a neighboring village to help wake the animals earlier in the morning. When Rufus saw Rocky, anger boiled inside him like hot water in a pot. "How dare another rooster come to my barn?" he shouted. "I am the only rooster needed here. This is my home, my job, my kingdom." Without thinking, Rufus rushed toward Rocky and began pecking at him furiously. Rocky tried to explain that he meant no harm, but Rufus would not listen. His anger had taken complete control of him. The other animals watched in sadness. The wise old goat Sebastian shook his head. The hens whispered among themselves. Even the gentle cows looked disappointed. They had seen Rufus lose control many times before, and each time he only hurt himself and others. After the fight, Rufus sat alone in the corner of the barn, breathing heavily. His feathers were ruffled and he had a small cut on his foot. Rocky had not fought back, which made Rufus feel even worse. Deep inside, a small voice whispered that he had been wrong, but his pride would not let him admit it. Days passed, and Rufus refused to speak to Rocky. He would crow earlier and louder, trying to prove he was better. He would strut around the barn, puffing out his chest, but no matter what he did not feel happy. In fact, he felt more miserable than ever before. One evening, Sebastian the goat approached Rufus as he sat watching the sunset. "My friend," Sebastian said gently, "I have lived many years and seen many things. May I share something with you?" Rufus nodded slowly, too tired to argue. "I see that your emotions control you like a wild horse controls its rider," Sebastian continued. "Anger makes you fight, jealousy makes you suffer, pride makes you lonely. You are like a ship without a captain, tossed about by every wave of feeling." Rufus looked down at his feet. He knew Sebastian spoke the truth, but he did not know how to change. "Tell me, Sebastian," Rufus said quietly, "how can I control these feelings? They are so strong, like storms inside me." The old goat smiled kindly. "Emotions are not your enemy, dear Rufus. They are messengers. Anger tells you something feels unfair. Jealousy tells you what you value. Sadness tells you what you have lost. But you must be the master, not the servant. You must learn to feel your emotions without letting them decide your actions." "But how?" Rufus asked, his voice almost breaking. "Watch Rocky," Sebastian replied. "See how he responds when the ducks splash water on him by accident. See how he acts when the hens ignore him. He feels emotions too, but he takes a breath before he reacts. He thinks before he speaks. He chooses his actions rather than letting his feelings choose for him." From that day forward, Rufus began to watch Rocky carefully. He noticed that when something annoyed Rocky, the brown rooster would pause, take a deep breath, and then respond with calmness. When the young chicks made noise during his rest time, Rocky did not scream at them. Instead, he gently moved to a quieter spot. Rufus decided to try this for himself. The next morning, when a hen accidentally knocked over his food, Rufus felt anger rising in his chest like a fire. But instead of shouting immediately, he stopped. He took a deep breath, just as Sebastian had suggested. He counted to 5 in his mind. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm. "Please be more careful next time," he said simply. The hen apologized, and other animals stared in surprise. Rufus felt something wonderful, a sense of peace and strength he had never experienced before. He had felt the anger, but he had not become the anger. He had controlled it instead of letting it control him. Day by day, Rufus practiced this new skill. When jealousy arose because Rocky received compliments, Rufus would breathe and remind himself of his own unique qualities. When frustration came because the young roosters did not listen to him, he would pause and speak with patience instead of fury. It was not easy. Many times Rufus failed. He would explode in anger or sink into jealousy. But each time he would apologize, learn from his mistake, and try again. Slowly, he began to change. One morning, something remarkable happened. Rocky came to Rufus with a kind smile. "I have noticed the great efforts you have made," Rocky said warmly. "You have become wiser and stronger. I am honored to call you my friend." Tears filled Rufus's eyes. He had spent so much time seeing Rocky as an enemy when he could have had a friend all along. "I am sorry for how I treated you," Rufus said, his voice thick with emotion. "My anger blinded me. Will you forgive me?" Rocky nodded kindly. "Of course, my friend. We all make mistakes. What matters is that we learn and grow." From that moment on, Rufus and Rocky became the best of friends. They would crow together each morning, creating a beautiful harmony that the whole village loved. They would share stories and help each other with their duties. The barn became a happier place because of their friendship. Rufus learned that controlling his emotions did not mean ignoring them or pretending they did not exist. It meant acknowledging them, understanding them, but not letting them control his choices. He learned that true strength was not in having no feelings, but in being able to feel deeply while still acting wisely. Years passed, and Rufus became known not just as the beautiful rooster with brilliant feathers, but as the wise rooster who taught others about emotional control. Young animals would come to him for advice, and he would share the lessons Sebastian had taught him. "Remember," Rufus would tell them, "your emotions are like the weather. They come and they go. You cannot stop the rain from falling or the wind from blowing, but you can choose whether to dance in the storm or seek shelter. You can choose how you respond. That choice is your power." And so, Rufus lived a long and happy life, surrounded by friends and filled with peace. He had learned the most important lesson of all, that the greatest victory is not over others, but over oneself. By controlling his emotions, Rufus had freed himself to become the rooster he was always meant to be: strong, wise, kind, and truly happy.